at Bowie State, where the president today made a huge announcement dealing with the issue of hazing. Earlier, an exclusive interview with Dr. Aminta Breaux, who is the president of Bowie State. Folks, earlier this month, Bowie State announced they were investigating hazing allegations involving their band. Well, now they are releasing those results. Joining us right now is Dr. Aminta Breaux. She's the president of Bowie State University. Dr. Breaux, glad to have you on Roland Martin Unfiltered. We've had to deal with hazing all across this country. We remember what happened at Florida State when the drum major there died as a result. We've seen this at predominantly white institutions as well. And so now you've had to now deal with this at your campus. What's the result of that investigation?
Well, as a result of the investigation, we did find that indeed there was hazing occurring. We also uncovered a document that the students know as their constitution that lays out the parameters for hazing to occur. And we're very saddened about the actions that were taken by some of the members of the band. And we're still very much concerned about what has taken place. But the good news is no one was seriously injured. Unlike other incidents that have been reported in the media, we were out ahead of this. As soon as we found out that this was happening, I shut down the band to ensure that we did our due diligence, we investigated. The first priority I have is for the safety of my students. And upon getting the reports, we enacted a probation, a suspension of the ban until we could get to the root of what was going on. So I'm sad to report that indeed we have found evidence that students have been engaging in hazing activities. The good news is no one was seriously injured.
But you do have some results. So obviously the band's been put on probation for a year. Has anyone been suspended, fired as a result of this hazing?
Well, just recently, the band director has stepped down. He has resigned. We are very concerned at this time about what took place, but we've also put into place an educational program. We are going to have the band on probation for a year while they participate in an educational program to help them understand what hazing is about. I still think that for some, they don't understand what we're talking about unless they hear about a death, unless they hear about something more serious. I don't believe they fully comprehend in some respects what we are addressing, and that is when they are asked to perform and practice excessive hours and that they are solely focused on the band to the isolation of all other elements of their life. That's a problem here. Our students are here to learn. They are here, yes, to be a member of the band, but there's an entire campus that they need to participate in. They need to understand that there's a whole other world, and they shouldn't be solely dependent on the leadership of the band, and they need to have some individuality. And unfortunately, there were some behaviors and activities where the freshmen were treated in ways that demeaned them, that humiliated them, and just ran up against those definitions of what we refer to when we're talking about hazing. And so we're going to do a lot of education for these students and the entire campus to ensure that there are clear definitions, clear examples, and our students know when this activity is happening, they need to speak out and say something about it.
How do you also deal with the fact that this is also now a deeply embedded culture? What I mean by that is, you know, I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, a lifetime member. We've seen numerous lawsuits. We've seen individuals who have died in fraternities and sororities as a result, and also other bands as well. And there's this whole thinking that somehow, if you don't go through adversity, if you haven't been beaten, if you haven't been demeaned, then somehow you haven't properly earned your credentials to be a fraternity member or to be a band member.
I understand that history, and that was then, this is now. I go back to some of the basics that you learn in kindergarten. Don't put your hands on somebody else. And in today's time, you cannot allow people to harm one another. You can't say, that's okay. I understand what went before. There is a difference between traditions, rituals, and hazing. where people fear, where they are humiliated. This is what we're talking about. And that just can't happen today. There are, as you know, incidents where people have died. That can't be allowed to happen for our youth today. I set a higher bar for my students here at Bowie State, and we should all set a higher bar for our children to understand, our young men and women who are coming to these colleges, to understand that is not what we expect of you. And so, yes, let's honor our history and think about, what that was. But today, there are liabilities, people lose their lives, and we need to keep our young people safe. And that's what I'm about, that as the president of Bowie State University. And I'm going to stand right there, firmly planted on safety of the students.
And when you talk about them being on probation, what does it actually mean when it comes to football, when it comes to basketball games, when it comes to travel? What does that actually mean?
So for the next year, as I mentioned, the students are going to go through an educational experience to help them understand what we're talking about with the differences between rituals and traditions and hazing and harming and humiliating other members of your group. We will also expect that the students only perform here on the campus and as permitted in the local area. They will not be traveling to overnight events and participating in activities off the campus and out of this area. That is to ensure that we have the proper precautions in place as they're traveling, once they resume traveling after their probationary time. So for the next year, education. For the next year, they're going to be local on the campus, a lot of supervision, a lot of support to lift them up, because we want our students to do well, but they will not be performing at the events off campus. So for the where the band, the athletic programs go on the road, they will not be traveling with them, just here on the campus.
Last question. We know that graduates have a lot of involvement still when it comes to our institutions, whether you went through fraternity or sorority or even the band. Are you going to be limiting alumni and their involvement in the band, where individuals may bring again those old ways of doing things onto the campus? How will you regulate and deal with that?
Well, it's difficult to regulate interaction with alumni. What I would invite is for the alumni to come in and talk with me about just what we're sharing. Yes, we all know that, things have changed over time. We as a country have evolved beyond when we were founded. Bowie State was founded in 1865. We're very different than what we were in 1865, and we're in a different environment. Things have to change. So I would love to talk with the alumni about what we're doing. They have been advised as we've gone through this process and with the investigation. They were brought into this conversation so that they know what we were looking at, and we've been bringing them along through the conversation and the investigation, just to say, here's what we know, here's what we found, as we have shared with the media and with our students. I've met with the students who are in the band to let them know I'm supportive of them. I want them to succeed. And I want our alumni to come on back. Let's have those conversations. Help me, help these young people understand it's a different day, and it has to be. And we want them to be safe. We want them to be successful and understand the right lessons, the right values for today.
Well, the most important thing that I also say is that whether it's our fraternities or sororities or HBCUs, the last thing we should be doing is spending money on settlements for folks who have been hurt, maimed, or killed as a result of the hazing. Because that, frankly, endangers the future survival of our institutions. And so we appreciate your leadership on this. Dr. Breaux, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Roland. Thank you. Really appreciate your time.
All right, folks, time to hear from one of our partners. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. With the holidays just around the corner, now is the time to order holiday cards for family and friends. Now, you know doggone well, you mail out holiday cards, they come in the mail, and you want to really impress your friends and family or your business folks with that. So this year, you can create custom holiday photo cards quickly, easily, and affordably at simplytoimpress.com. Now, simplytoimpress.com is your holiday photo card headquarters, with thousands of unique Christmas cards and other designs to choose from. Now look, this is very simple. All you do is upload your family photos. You can get them from Facebook or Instagram, personalize the text, and then you're done. It's that simple. Simply2impress.com prints your cards professionally on your choice of premium card stock in just a few days and rushes them straight to your door. The New York Times Wirecutter named Simply to Impress their favorite custom photo card service. Simply to Impress even offers foil cards and hundreds of great holiday card designs for your business as well. Now look, if you place your order today, you'll save 30% and get free shipping. 30% savings and free shipping. All you got to do is enter the promo code DEAL, D-E-A-L, at checkout. Now save big on holiday photo cards today by using the promo code DEAL at simply2impress.com. That's simply2impress.com. And remember, when you support them, you also are supporting Roland Martin Unfiltered because they are. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered.